And we back, y'all. Hey, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Not gonna happen in this video, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hey, like the video. Don't be scary. Share it too.
Yeah, share the video, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of you who watch me and not subscribe to me. I can't understand why, but you know what? Hey, I still love you regardless. Make sure you guys also subscribe to Mrs. Best. Jim Bunny, I saw you here. You was here before me. I appreciate you being here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for coming back. You are the best. So let's go ahead and get into this foolishness, y'all. Ain't nothing but foolishness. So the episode opens up where it leaves off, where we have Dr. Antoinette. She's had it here with Letitia. She's had it here with her. So Letitia is trying to get everybody in ordinance because she's here to drop the trip where they're going. This is the first time the cast is taking a trip together and they're going to New Orleans. And she goes, I want all the ladies to come. And Dr. Antoinette said, I want to say it for here and before God. And she goes, well, wait a minute, hold up, Antoinette. She said, no, you're fake as hell. She goes, and she's like, you faking this and this and that. I said, Letitia, what happened to being the big sister and you trying to be, the house mother and ordinance everybody together? So the moment someone says something you don't like, you then go for an attack. Even though Antoinette was, in a sense, wrong, I thought Letitia was better than that. That's how she's portraying herself. Ain't that what we're supposed to believe? But Antoinette went off. And I understood her frustration. I did. I understood exactly what she was saying. Everybody's wig is terrible. Everybody's wig is terrible on the show. It just is. We know this already. But Antoinette and Letitia got up. She said, you better get the hands out my face. I don't know what's wrong with cameramen. I don't know if they're part-time security guards, so they have to stop the fight from happening as they're holding the camera. But I didn't see nothing. I don't know whose hand was in whose face. I don't know if somebody hit somebody. I don't know what it is. And I get she's a doctor. She has shit to lose. But I wanted to see something. Mrs. Best, were you mad that you didn't see nothing?
No. Antoinette just got here. She's talking a lot of crap. I get that you're mad. But as successful as Antoinette is, I just can't understand why you wouldn't want to go backwards to hang out with some people who you got a beef with from like 3-4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I just feel like it's like, get over it. I'm glad that somebody is putting their foot on these Belle's necks, and I think that that's why they're scared to see her back. But if you're not going to be a full-time cast member or a consistent friend of, why are you here? To me, it is a little bit strange to go say, let me go hang out with my friend who's friends with these bitches that I ain't talked to in years, and then I want to pick a fight with them and hold on to stuff that happened from years ago. You're more successful than all of them in real life, Antoinette. Let it go.
I felt like that too. I felt like it wasn't worth it. Joseph Felton, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I agree with that. I felt like Antoinette was tripping. I really do, because I was happy for it at first, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I was happy, but when you think of the construct of who she is, what she has, and where she's been, it's kind of like, okay, yes, I want this to happen, but it's the wrong person. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I want this to happen. Somebody need to call Letitia, because Letitia is fake. I'm sorry, she is. She is fake. But I wanted it to come from somebody else. Because it just coming from Dr. Lyles, it just wasn't right. It just did not. That's like, it's like Dr. Jackie going off on like Dr. Contessa. It just doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense at all. So, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like it was wrong. They break it up. And on one flip side, So Gucci and Aisha are leaving because So Gucci said she can't be in a room with Selena. So she removed herself. And Antoinette and Latrice walk out with them. And Latrice saw like, did I offend you, Aisha? She goes, no, you didn't offend me. She said, Gucci, we good? She said, yeah, we good, girl, we good. And she goes, yeah, I just couldn't hold that in. And I was like, I feel like you better than this though, Antoinette. This is why I get conflicted with this. because I feel like you better than this. So Letitia's trying to calm down. You have Tambra, Selena, and Marie trying to calm her down, and Letitia was like, I don't know where we went wrong and everything. And she goes, it's people, we all have issues with each other. So Tambra took this as a moment to sit Marie down. And this is what pisses me off about Marie. She said, what it is, Tambra, is that, when a man slid my DMs, that's not something men do. That's not something, that's what women do. So when the man did it, yeah, me and Letitia were like, well, let's hear him out. And I'm looking at Marie like,
Why did it take her going off camera, Marie, for you to admit that you were wrong?
right.
So,
Like, why did it take her to have to show you shit to understand that this was wrong? This was a man who was thirsty enough to slide in your DMs to tell you about a friend that you should know better than that. If y'all were
anytime a
quote unquote
man
friends.
done slid in my DMs trying to tell me about something a woman has done to them that's bad, whether it's an actual friend of mine or an ex or a spouse or baby daddy of a friend, it's usually a little suspect and off, especially if it's a straight man, because straight men don't move like that. It's just the fact. But that doesn't mean you as a girl, whether that's your friend or not, go against girl code to see what you can do to humiliate this woman. I
Exactly.
don't understand why Marie is busy doing that. She humiliates herself with the BBL and clothes that look like they both came from City Trends. We don't need Marie to do nothing else to humiliate not herself, not anybody else. We need Marie to sit still, be quiet, and act like someone that works in mental health, not the person that's going to make you need mental health services. That's just how I feel.
Exactly. It's like, I don't understand this. I really, y'all, I did not understand this at all. Because where in y'all right mind, you and Letitia, because I know it was some of her too, that y'all thought this was a good idea to meet with somebody who's slitting out DMs to get information on Tambra, only for Tambra to tell you that this was a volatile situation and that she has legal grounds and paperwork against this man. And then she had to show you the shit for you to understand, okay, well, I owe you an apology when you should just left with that to begin with. See, that's where me and Marie get kind of squad. Because as I said, I don't like Tambra, but what they did to her was messed up. It really was. Because nobody wants to be reminded of trauma or something they've been with in a situation with someone they were once in love with. That stuff carries with you. So I just felt like it was just in poor taste. It really was. Majority of them dressed like, oh, y'all need to, I'm not going here. I'm not going to touch this. I agree though. Moving on. So we then have a little scene where Cliff, Glenn, Willie, and JJ, they go to Dee's boyfriend's barbershop. And what JJ explains is that him and Dee really ain't with it because, leave it to Dee. This relationship was more toxic than one can imagine. But directly, he said, "This is my son-in-law. I'm happy. Look at his job. He got liquor behind the cabinet. He got a pool table." JJ, I don't know what he was getting cut because it wasn't in plats. So I don't know what he was doing, but he was getting a haircut.
Let me explain something. Based on looking at D's baby daddy and looking at D, I think we know why he may have strayed. I'm just going to say what I'm saying. Separately from that, based on what my friend who lives in Jackson, Mississippi told me about Jackson, Mississippi, you got to be real careful finding a man out there to hope that he belongs to you. And it seemed the OGs may be the only ones truly available. Separate from that, I think that the fact that JJ is okay to be cool with the baby daddy of his wife's daughter, which this girl done basically complained about him on TV so many times, as a father with three daughters, separate from the relationship, birds of a feather flock together. I feel like he feel for that young man because he young, light skinned, and a hoe, just like JJ probably was. The more that I see JJ behave on this show, the more that I am siding with Selena. I've always kind of sided with Selena, but now
I'm
I'm
still in
really
the middle.
siding with Selena.
I'm still in the middle because I feel like Selena not innocent in this situation.
She's not innocent, but she's the
Yeah,
mother of them kids, and the way that he has painted her out to be, and the fact that his family will deal with her and show up for her and them kids, JJ is definitely the problem. The only people who got a problem with Selena in JJ's family are him and his wife.
I can't argue there, y'all. I can't argue there. I really can't argue because that is true. I mean, his father did show up with the stepmom, and I
Father,
can't.
stepmom, his siblings, cousins,
Right.
like a lot
No.
of those people were his family. He is clearly wrong. Because having a wife that has a beef with your ex, that's something that's common. Having a wife that has a beef with your ex and then is willing to press charges and file charges on the ex, knowing that the ex is needed by the daughters, which are your stepdaughters because they just had babies, knowing that the ex had her own man and did not still want him. I feel like they just upset that Selena don't want them, and now she on the show. So
It could be. I don't know.
just like JJ could have showed up for them grandkids.
Right. I was gonna say that exact same thing. I was
I
like,
don't
well, you could
understand
shut up.
why he is
Yeah, you
acting
could shut
like
up too.
every
Like,
event
yeah,
is about Selena or every event is about Gucci when none of this shit is about Gucci. None of it. None of it. At the end of the day, what people got to understand, and so Gucci should have understood this. You chose to marry a man who had kids that he was actively present in their lives with, right? So you cannot get upset if people still choose to see inside with the kids. You don't have to make it about Selena, JJ, and Gucci. You don't. And Selena don't have to make it about JJ and Gucci,
right.
and she's learning by inviting them to events still. She's not saying don't invite them, I'm not going to be there. That's Gucci and them pulling all of that. So at some point, he has to man up, and a real man to stand up to his wife and say, listen, these are my kids. You don't got to deal with their mama, but you need to make it right with with the kids. And if making it right with the kids means being respectful to the mom or apologizing to them for putting her in a situation where she going to end up in jail when you admit that you came there ready to fight and you lunched at this woman first, no, I'll be damned if they're gonna make it okay for this man not to be a father because she nucked and then she got bucked and she mad. Absolutely not.
You know what? I see. Because they're grown, I understand it to an extent, but at the same time, these are memories that you cannot get back. Being at a baby shower, being there, in support of your dog. Those are things that you can't undo once the damage has been done.
He don't have to support and deal with Selena. Like her being on this show, I think is a little bit much.
Yes,
And
I
is
agree.
slightly disrespectful to Gucci, but you talked about her so much, Gucci. Now she's here. And with JJ, I just feel like you cannot tolerate disrespect from Selena and still be there for your kids. Let her be in the wrong.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Show
And that's
us,
where I'm
but
at.
we
That's
don't
where I'm at
ever
with
get
them.
to
Let her
see
be wrong.
that.
Yeah, let her be wrong instead of you feeding into it because you're feeding into it, making you a part of it.
And now
But
you're saying I will not have a relationship with my children or grandchildren because of my wife starting some shit. No, this time, I don't know what happened the rest of the times, but in this instant, Gucci was wrong. You don't want to get hit or attacked? Then don't talk to somebody crazy, act rude towards them in front of their child, and don't take your glasses off and charge at them like you finna fight.
right, I agree.
That's why their
Um,
case went nowhere.
well, it was never going to go anywhere. But for me, this whole scene was really stupid because then they jump on Cliff, and Cliff was telling Willie, that he shouldn't be in, the business because that's what women do. And I'm so tired of this conversation between men. It was like y'all act like y'all don't gossip and talk about these women when y'all in situations such as where you're at right now, the barbershop, the bars. Y'all act like y'all don't talk about women in these situations. Y'all are just as messy. But don't hold one because Cliff is messy too. We saw this at the end of this episode. Cliff is messy too. So, I mean, this conversation was silly, but Cliff felt away, so he walked out on him, which I probably would have too, because y'all all are messy. Y'all all are messy. And then Glenn got his little feelings hurt because Willie was talking about his song.
Listen, Glenn, you don't even know how to buy clothes in the appropriate size that fits your body. Okay? You don't know. You don't know. So there's a lot more that Glenn can be upset about and working on. That's all I'm gonna say.
Is this right here? Is this right here? Because he wanted them. He wanted them. You know, y'all ever see the messy one that just be sitting, just be looking, and then when everybody walk up the room, be talking. That's what Cliff is. And then Glenn. Yeah, Glenn is just as messy too. Glenn is absolutely messy. I think it's deeper. Not to mention JJ show for those girls when they were dancing. Yeah, he did. From what I understood, I never watched Bring It. I've never watched that show.
He showed up. He did show up for them in later seasons. In early seasons, he wasn't showed as much on Bring It, but that doesn't mean he wasn't there as a father because they did speak about their dad.
Mhm.
I think that Selena and JJ broke up when they before they were actually ready to break up because they were probably toxic. But regardless, they seemed to be okay with co-parenting until Sophia Shantae came into the picture. And being that so Gucci is a mom, sometimes it's okay to step back and be silent and just be still and let things work themselves out. But instead, So Gucci has talked about this woman on the internet, on HDTV, here on this network, on social media. She has talked negatively about Selena everywhere. So what the hell do you expect?
I don't know, but yeah. But we'll go ahead and move on. That was a little scene with the men. The next thing we have is Latrice was invited to speak. I don't know if they were at the White House or it was an event to get people to go out and vote, which, you know, how the way the election turned out, we don't know if it was effective or ineffective. But I will say she was one of the people who spoke, you know, as an entrepreneur in the business. She gave a little speech. She invited Selena and Tambra. And when they sit at the table and they're talking, you know, they, you know, congratulate her on making the speech. And then they talk about Dr. Antoinette. She said, your friend Antoinette, Selena said, your friend Antoinette, she was on one. And then she said, oh, yeah, she had to get that out. And even Tambra was like, yeah, that was a lot. But Tambra in a way kind of defend her because Dr. Antoinette hasn't seen anybody for years, and she never really did get any of that addressed. Which, if y'all watch the reunion, Antoinette didn't get anything addressed with the ladies. They kind of just one by one was accusing her of certain things, and it was kind of like, well, damn. And so she had to kind of defend that without really putting her own issues with the ladies out there because they were trying to make sure she did. So I understood why Antoinette had to do what she did, but once again, she has the most to lose out of anybody here. So I wish she just would have let it go. And if she was going to come back to the group, come back and be like, look, how y'all did me season one, y'all not going to do season four. So we not even going to do all that.
It's
So,
weird that it took so long for her to come back, though. That's why I'm like, Antoinette, let Latrice fight her own battles or leave the show. Because if Latrice leave the show, then they gonna have nobody to bitch at.
mhm.
Who they gonna yell at? Who they gonna blame for things? They're gonna have to actually be accountable.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, it did seem like she was trying to do that to one stick up for Latrice, but also to get her, you know, whatever she could not get at the reunion. I'm just like, that shit is old. I forgot what they was even arguing. I have to go back and watch season one so I can understand what they were arguing about. Tim was like, yeah, she had to get that out. And then and then they also revert the conversation with her and Marie. And she told her that she had to take Marie off camera to show her all of the paperwork she had filed against Old Boy and why this was wrong. And oh well, we appreciate you being here. I do. I know a lot of people don't watch this show, but I appreciate you being here. This is a filler show. I'm gonna call this Belle Collective is a filler show for the show I really want Carlos to bring back, and I'm praying he brings it back. And I'm praying that that family agrees to come back. It's Family Empire Houston.
They are
Even though I've
coming
been doing,
back. You got to
huh?
pay attention more, and but they are coming back. I know that they were actively filming, and I get the feeling that Family Empire will be coming back during the OWN for the holidays because they are advertising them constantly in those little holiday commercials. They've also been doing a lot locally in Houston, Texas, as far as it relates to parades, stuff for the community prepping. So I have a feeling that OWN is following them because people I know that live there say they seen them with cameras. So it's just OWN network is shitty, in my opinion. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm here because of James. It is a hot mess. They put these shows together to make them feel like you watching daytime television, like when Maury and the People's Court and all that used to come on. And it don't have to be like that because they have good concepts for shows, but then they over advertise shows that are dead, like Love and Marriage. while ignoring new shows like Family Empire Houston and or Belle Collective that could be so much more than filler shows. I agree with you, Jen Bunny. It is losing its luster, and
It is. It's like
they need to get rid of Marie and Letitia.
yes. And honestly, Latrice can go too, because she's real.
She don't stand up for herself right.
It's
You
like
want to stand up for yourself 2 hours, 3 summers, and 6 afternoons later.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, this is as I said. I'm glad that Family Empire because y'all know my favorite is Aunt Nikki. No, it ain't, but But I do miss Aunt Nikki. I do with her messy behind. I do. But moving on from there, we then have a scene where, or was I finished with this scene? No, I wasn't. I just said Tambra and Marie. She showed Marie the paperwork, and so they were able to kind of make amends and everything. And Latrice said in her confessional that she's going to be careful with Antoinette because she doesn't want to fight her battles. That's still her friend, but she doesn't want to be in the middle of that, which I agree. Anything else you want to add to Miss Best before I move on?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So we then have we have a couple of little scenes coming up. We have Letitia and Glenn. She's mentioning the New Orleans trip. And before she can even get it out, Glenn's like, "Oh, I'm gonna crash that trip. Y'all not going to New Orleans." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute, hold on. First of all, that's
Get a
not."
job, grow up,
I'm
and
just saying,
again,
like,
rinse and
that's rubbing the
repeat.
wrong way. And but she's like, "I was gonna make it a couples trip. I was all like, no, that's the wrong energy he had." I was looking at him like, "Oh no, you're doing way too much." I'm like, okay. So she breaks it to Glenn that it will be a couples trip. And then we have a scene with Dee coming over to Gucci and JJ's house. And, she's been in a bad headspace. There was, moments where her mental health took a turn for the worse and everything. She dropped the baby off at the grandmama's house and just went off. They couldn't find her. So Gucci is basically, it wasn't really an intervention. It was kind of like a check-in, a wellness check to say, hey,
So Gucci is a horrible parent. I am sorry. You could tell that this woman is emotionally not there for that child. We have watched So Gucci's daughter tell her that she did not get love. She was not good with affection. She felt like she was forgotten when her mama got JJ, as well as other exes that her mama done tried to date. So Gucci is the parent that wants to be present when people can see her being a present parent, whether it is on television, at a family event, the barbecue. Okay, that is what So Gucci gives. I got family members I ain't spoke to in years due to some childhood abuse that I'm not going to speak on this live. But I will tell you this: when I talk to my daddy, I love my daddy. I'm a daddy's girl, and he's like, "Yeah, this person, Uncle so and so, or this person was saying how they was there for you and this and that." I said, "Huh? I ain't heard from this person in years, and they caused a lot of trauma." But okay, like that's what So Gucci gives. She wants to be present and look like a good parent when people can see it, write it, record it, whatever the hell you want to be. But I think that So Gucci has brought a lot of the dysfunction from her own family unit over into JJ's life. That's what I will say. Because if my child says to me, I was so panicked that I had to drop the baby off at their grandparents' house instead of the mom, who is the grandparent, so the great grandparents' house, right? This child was in such a dark place that they didn't think I want to take my baby to my mama, their actual grandparent. I want to go to my grandma, the baby's great grandparent. Okay. No, that sounds concerning. And Gucci just like, well, you gotta do what you gotta do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of you, fo. And Gucci, take your grapes and that charcuterie board with no cheese and no real charcuteries.
right.
Take that wine glass and shove it right up your ass or into your mouth where them dentures go. Absolutely not. Because she got something to say about Selena's parenting, but her own child is clearly struggling with what's likely postpartum depression. Sounds like the baby daddy been cheating and don't want to be faithful and all of this stuff. And what do? JJ running around in his barber shop. That's my son-in-law, and you not even happy to be with the boy. And your
I
mama's on here
actually,
acting like everything is right. Absolutely not.
when I actually saw Dee and actually saw her actually voice like how he is a tyrant in her life and JJ up in there supporting his business stuff. Like, there's no way, my father's no longer here on earth, but my father would never do that to me. Not in the slightest bit. even my stepfather wouldn't do that. My thing, he'd be like, fuck him and be done. Like you better, I don't see him on the streets. Like, especially if I went through crazy ass shit, like almost trying to take my life, and I'm asking him for support, he ain't giving it. See, mm-mm. I thought she was talking about her baby daddy's. No, she was talking about so Gucci's stepmom. That's what she was talking about.
But
That she got
even
rid of.
so, that's a good point you bring up. A bitch stay winning. Yes, I love that name. Stay winning, girl. But because why wouldn't you take it to the side of the family that belong to you? I mean, I'm just saying, if my husband pissed
It
me off
doesn't
and
make
we got
sense.
a baby, I am not calling his mama. Absolutely not. I'm gonna call a cousin, my auntie. I call James before I call my mother-in-law, just because I'm gonna assume she gonna side with him. Like, but okay, all right.
It's a strange story, but then they talk about the girls and how they're trying to make it one accordance, and JJ's all like, I had to do things in my time, and back when I was raising you and stuff, you used to give me hell, but we're here now, and you have to give me my time. And I was listening to this shit, I was like, wait, hold the hell up. She, I don't like this dynamic because me and my stepmom have a beautiful relationship. We do. We have a beautiful relationship, but it took time. But one of the things she always told me, she goes, I knew when the time was right for you, not for me, because the love always had to be there for you. But she goes, I knew there was one time we would come out on the other side. It took its time, but eventually we got there. And that's really what I want to hear an additional parent say. Not, I do things on my time, and because it kind of made it seem like I can only love you when I'm ready to love you. That's how it came off to me.
And that's how his daughters are going to perceive it. And I think
Yes.
that is why they are not dealing with him, because So Gucci has been a problem and has made beefs with Selena and has been jealous of Selena and them since Bring It. She has spoken about it. Selena's spoken about it. That's the one thing everybody can agree with since that little dance show. But the way that JJ thinks and the way that he operates, I think that there are issues that he has with his children as well. And he seems quick to throw in a child's face what he's done for them. Let me explain something to you, parents. You do not raise your kids with the expectation that they will take care of you when you're old. You do not raise your kids and then say, well, I did this for you, so you got to respect me 40 years later. You don't get to throw in the face of your children, even when they are adults, the thing that you had to do for them because you were their legal guardians. You don't get to throw that shit in their face. And if you don't like it, then that's why there's an adoption system, a foster care system, all of that. It sounds harsh. But I feel like that's what JJ is doing because he did that with D. Well, you gave me hell and I still. Why would you bring that up? She's not giving you hell right now and she was a kid. Why are you holding that against her? So I think that JJ is very selfish when it comes to how he thinks, but he's also probably still a great father. But it just shows that everybody's so busy from JJ, Selena, and So Gucci trying to blame each other for being the problem that I think individually there is all a lot that they could all stand to learn and improve as it relates to being parents. Right, Joseph? His grandkid gonna see this and say, hell no.
Well,
Absolutely not.
I don't think reality TV people, personalities, really understand that this can be seen at any time. This can be carried down. There's reality TV shows I have to go back and watch. Like one of my guilty pleasures, I'm going to tell on myself, but I don't care. This is my channel. A guilty pleasure that I rewatch all the time is Newlyweds with Nick and Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey. I'll rewatch that all the time. And that shit has been gone for 20 years. But I still go back and watch it because I tell people all the time, Jessica Simpson is my best friend in my head. I don't know why. I just love her to death. I just do. But I go back and watch that show because I read her book not that long ago. And there were certain things that she said about her ex-husband that really, I didn't see it that way at the time. So when I went back and watched it, now that I am grown, I'm like, oh, I see it now. So yeah, there are going to be moments where these kids 20 years later are going to watch this because of how you felt, or you may say something that's going to rub them wrong, and they can go back and look how you really feel about them and say, oh, well, there it is. This is how you really feel. So I'm just saying, like, there's always going to be a time where they can go back and watch this. Like I said, I tell myself, I watched that shit. And I now see things differently with that couple that I did not see when I was watching it as a teenager. It just is what it is. But I'm just saying they gotta be careful with that shit. They do. They really need to be careful about what they put out there. So we're gonna move on, and my heart goes out to D. It really does, because I could tell you haven't had it easy with really having, you know, the bond of love with your mother. I don't know where your
You can
father
tell
is.
there's a lot that Dee wants to say that she can't say. And I
Right.
feel like income and things of that nature are what's keeping her from being able to say how she really feels. Um,
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But I just hope that when she said therapy wasn't working for her, that's one thing I wanted to address. When she said therapy did not work, so she stopped going. I tell you guys all the time. I tell everybody on my channel, and every time a reality TV star says that therapy doesn't work because you're not honest. And I can look at D and tell that she wasn't being honest with the therapist.
I'm gonna stop you there because that's something that can offend a lot of people, and that's not true for a lot of people. Therapy sometimes doesn't work because there are clinicians that are not appropriately trained. Therapy doesn't work because the mental health system is broken, and a lot of times insurance is only going to pay for a certain amount of sessions, or insurance is only going to pay for a certain caliber of counselor. You see companies, for example, like Kaiser. When my husband wanted to see a therapist, he got an intern, a graduate student like myself, who's hoping to become a therapist that has not taken or passed any form of a test. And I also think, separate from that, even when people are honest, the steps that a therapist and a counselor is going to take, for a lot of people who find themselves in therapy, it may feel too slow or like they're not getting what they need. Um, Versus it just being people not telling the truth in therapy. I feel like that's the case for some people. But as short as D tried it out, she needs to try it for longer. I always tell people, don't assume that therapy's not going to work until you've at least tried it for at least a year consistently. And then, yes, honesty is a piece of it, but you also should have a counselor that's trying to explain and help you to be a part of the therapeutic process at some point. Like they should be checking in. How do you feel that this is going? Are you getting anything out of it? And if the client refers to you and says, no, I'm not, I don't know, this isn't moving fast enough, then it's the therapist and the clinician's job to explain, like, this is why we're going slow, this is what this is supposed to do. But I don't think that a lot of people are just lying when they go to therapy. They may not say everything, but it's unrealistic, even for clinicians, to expect people to be 150% forthright and honest with the person they don't know. For some people, that could take years to open up. But I do think that if your child says to you the therapy is not working, then you should push them to try again, not just accept it as Soguchi did.
I agree, but in the same token, and I respect you for giving that input. I do. I respect it, and I agree with that 100%. It's been in my experience though that a lot of people don't know what the truth is. I'm gonna say it like that. A lot of people don't know what their truth really is because they're probably not old enough or in expectation enough to really understand it. Because a lot of times we do things we don't understand as human beings. We do that, and um, I had some I didn't like either. I had some I didn't like either. Directly, and a lot of the reasons why I didn't like them is because it was one part of me I wasn't being totally honest about all of my situations and the ones that were affecting me. That was one of the reasons because they couldn't help me if I wasn't really being 100% forthright with them.
I
And I
think
feel
with
like I am.
therapy, it's important to realize that what you did and how you operated is solely different from how other people. I
Mhm,
think that's also the difference from clinicians to people just receiving therapy. Even if you're someone who works in the field and gives other people counseling, as I do, it's still different when you yourself are receiving the therapy, and it's easy to assume things. But what one does doesn't mean a lot of others do. A lot of people, when they get to the point of even accepting or wanting to go to therapy, it's a big deal for them. And so they may not always feel safe to be honest in the beginning, and that is okay. But
mhm.
that's not to negate that they're being honest about other things. I
No,
think
no,
that
no.
that's
Yeah, no, I
something
agree
that
with
will
you.
just leave clinicians to speak on. But I want for Soguchi to stop putting this girl on camera, because every time we see D, she just looks like she's in more and more pain.
But the
And that's
stigma, I
sad.
think, where I was going with this is that I don't want them to put the stigma out there that it doesn't work. that's where I kind of felt like we need to be a little bit careful with that stigma that it
You
does.
get out of therapy what you put into it. That is the truth.
That's
But
what I
at
was
the
saying.
same time, people also need to be okay with shopping around therapists and understanding that you may express yourself and like cry your whole life away. And the person may look at you and respond inappropriately. And it's okay to change your therapist and
Oh
to
yeah,
switch them and all of that.
please do that too. You guys, anybody who's out there seeking therapy, we're not. Well, she is. I'm not. Please don't be afraid to change your therapist. They don't get offended. I promise you, they don't. I have changed. I've been in therapy 18 years. I've changed therapists. It's now every year, but before it used to be every 6 months to a year. So I had many, and it wasn't so much that I did it because they weren't working. It's just that I think that they've run their course of what they can help me with, and I needed a new, fresh eyes for the new situation. And one day I'll tell my story. One day I will, to because I know a lot of people are like, damn, 18 years. Yes, 18 years. And I'll tell my story one day. One day I will, because it's problem after problem after problem. And now this year it's been situation after situation after situation. So, it's different for different souls. But I want her to make sure that she just doesn't throw away that option. Especially if we're talking about unaliving yourself and stuff. I hope, and I was glad for Marie. This is the one time I'm gonna give her credit that she opened up her opportunity to say, "Hey, I got you if you need to talk." So
It
that's
was
one thing
how
I'm
that
gonna.
little girl looked at her when she said it. Listen, D is sad, and she, I think, is definitely struggling with postpartum really bad, which could go for years.
Yes.
But I think she knows not to trust any of the women in this group.
Yes. What was I gonna say? Okay, so that was so once again, we're praying for Dee. We want her to come on the other side of this strong as she can possibly be, and make sure that in any type of situation you are loved. That's all we want you to know, Dee. Thank you for sharing your story. The next thing we're going to talk about is Marie. Marie goes over to Letitia and Glenn's home, and she pretty much says that, someone shot up her home and that she could have died because she wasn't at home yet, but she was on her way home. And they show a small clip of it of someone just opening fire, and it did look crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that looks insane. And what it brought me back to, y'all, and I hate I have to mention this because I don't like it, but it brought me back to when her grandchild lost his mother, and he was in the car as well. It brought me back to this scene. It was like, damn, like I don't know, like if this is just random. I don't know if it's connected to something because she said she has every one of her children. She has her mama. She has everybody. Is there something going on?
This is why you treat your house like a sanctuary, and that applies to family also. I'm just saying, because somebody got into your gated community and proceeded to feel safe enough to do a drive-by, hanging all out the windows. The shit looked like some stuff I see on my block. I'm from 89th and Birch in Oakland, California. Google it. I cannot understand how all of this would happen in a gated community with no quick police response. I can't understand it. I just can't. But Marie got a mama who'll do anything for dope, a son that got a baby mama that died while she was in the car with the baby, some cousins that look like they might have sent some people over based on their outfits and choices. And she's got a terrible attitude and seemed to make enemies left and right and everywhere she goes. Now, if this was happening to Tambra, for example, right? Marie would be, oh, that don't look right, and picking apart every little bit. Somebody tried to kill me. But you ain't confirmed that. You seen some people driving by. How do you know they were coming for you? When you've got all of these different people that be in your house who are with the shit.
They want see a bit say when me and you are in sync because I went to that situation of the baby mama and that son situation. I don't know why my mind went there, but it did. It went there because
Because you
that
have
situation was
sense.
crazy to me. Like that situation is crazy in the sense of the child was in the car when his mama was being unalived, and there was many bullet holes in that car, and
Girl.
it was like I'm, I don't want to say the two are connected, but
Marie don't want to show us nothing else. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I call bullshit. Y'all can
you need
cancel
to
me.
take.
I don't care. I don't care. I call bullshit because you live in a gated community. How did they get in? How?
I
You
mean,
showed
they
us the
live
cameras of
right in
them
the
going by
neighborhood.
your house, but I want to see the cameras that you got from the
The
front
neighbors.
gate.
Yeah.
I want to see if they checked in, if they entered a code. You're not showing us that part. Marie's also been proven to be a liar.
Well, see,
When
here's
it's
the thing. Being in California, in the gated communities, they write down your license plate, or nowadays they take pictures of it. But back then, like, I don't know what this gated community is, but I know in California where we're from, they write down your license plate, and
and they
like,
still be dealing with robberies out here still, but they
mhm,
don't go through the main gate. Like if it's in a car, then fine. But most of the time, you see people getting robbed and stuff be going wrong. They either undercover in hiding as somebody they not supposed to be, or they not hop the gate and went in a whole different direction or something.
that's
But
also true too. And you give the pizza guy the code to the gate all the time. And usually it's the same thing. So that also could be too. That you just have a code you just enter in, and they have one for like the Amazon people, they have one for the pizza guy, they have one for the mailman. So it could be easily that they got a hold of one of those codes and got in. Like it could be that too. I
but
don't know.
Marie like to act like she's like the richest of the rich, the baddest of the bad. So if you acted like this on this show and getting to everybody else, bitch, you better be in a guarded community. I want to see cameras. I want to see the code to the gate. I want to see the license plate being scanned. I want to see the background check being done on the person entering it, ID and passport given. Because Marie talked too much shit to end up in some situation like this. She just does. She just does.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was, and they Glenn and Letitia opened up their home, which
Is that their home?
well, hell, I don't know. Shit, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt here, Mrs. Best. Damn,
I
we
want to
don't
know
know.
what Letitia did with her season one wigs.
They
I
probably in the
wonder.
closet. Yeah, I don't think she burned them. So hell, but I'm just saying. I don't know if I would have opened the. I would have made sure I saw the police report and like make sure like whoever, because they didn't catch whoever it was. So I'm like, I don't know if you can stay in my. I don't know, y'all. I'm a good friend. I really am. But when it comes to your house getting shot up and you come into my house, I'm gonna.
Don't come here.
Right.
The hell? Absolutely not. That's not a bad friend. If you call me talking about, yeah, they were shooting me all the way up out of Arizona. Oh, okay. Well, we got extended stay, Best Western, the Marriott, the W, Hilton, Hyatt, you name it.
That ain't
I,
funny,
I'll
but
even
that
pay
ain't
for your night,
funny.
but you're not coming to my shit.
Right. Okay, I'm glad we on the same page
No.
because I promise you, I was like, you gonna come here? No, no. Especially they ain't caught who did it either. No, you're not coming to my house. I'm
And
sorry.
you can't tell us why somebody want to have you unalived. Why? Now, and the thing is with Marie, this gonna sound so bad. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I don't care. I'm not surprised that someone is that mad at her that they would roll up into the neighborhood that they had access to clearly and scare her a little bit. I don't know why. I feel like this has something to do with one of her cousins, the way that they was looking.
You think it's the I think it was the
It,
whoever that baby mama belonged to originally before the son had a baby with her. I feel like it has
they
because men
wouldn't
do
come
crazy.
back years later. Her son's been damn near in hiding since then. I feel like it has to do with something Marie has done or somebody that she associates with, either her adult cousins or her mom, sadly, because she did say her mom was struggling and went back onto the street. And then last season, she said her mama took her fur coats and pawned them. I said, where the hell can you even pawn a fur coat? But
Oh, you can.
you listen, I don't know these things, okay? I'm an animal lover. I'm with PETA. I don't fully believe in wearing
As I
fur, but
say,
that's another topic. But somebody wanted her head. They wanted them finger waves to be waving on the flow. They did not want her to be living. And they got into her gated community with comfort. So that tells me it's somebody that's close to her. But I'm not surprised. When you run your mouth like that, you play stupid games, you have to deal with stupid results.
we don't want any harm to come to Marie on the Watch for My Reviews channel in association with Mrs. Best TV. We don't want any harm coming to you, Marie. If we're just trying to understand, because that's a very, very drastic measure to take if it's just some simple words. So I'm just saying, I don't know, but
Girl,
it's
it
just
was a
weird.
drive by. It looked like a warning. Where I'm from, that's a warning. Because if they want to get you, they gonna hit you. I feel like
True.
that's a warning. But I don't know how it is in Jackson. I
Yeah, that's
don't know
another thing.
that. But if that was California, that looked like a warning. Because if they want to shoot you, you're gonna be shot.
Right. I agree. I agree. So, as I said, we don't want any harm to come to Marie's, places of anything. We don't want her to be harmed herself. So we hoping that she's taking some extreme measures, security, police officers, all extreme measures to make sure she is constantly safe because that is still a black woman at the end of the day. And I don't want any harm coming to any black women, especially in that kind of incident. No, I don't want that for her at all. Moving on from there, we then have the situation of it being Dee's baby's birthday. They're having it at JJ and Soguchi's house. And to my surprise, I don't remember which. I can't tell you out of Star, Sanjay, or Sky who that was walking through the door with the babies. But she walked through the door, and I was surprised to see her. I really was. But she comes over. All the ladies show up, and they're all sitting on the couch and they're talking about the New Orleans trip, and you know they mentioned Selena being invited, and so Gucci said, "Well, I have to second guess if I'm coming because I can't be around her, and I'm not even gonna go because we know that at the end of the day she is going, and so Gucci is too. So we're not even gonna get into it. We're not even gonna let us waste the time." And then she, talks about D, and D comes in there, and this is where Marie gives her, the pep talk that she's here for her. And like Mrs. Best said, D kind of gave her a look like, I'm okay with my mama in here telling y'all I'm okay. And as I said, it's a extended olive branch for support. They also mentioned that Tamber Marie are in a good place now, that they've talked everything else. So everybody is good and that,
They cordial. I feel like Tamber was not letting off Marie's neck, but the cameras was like, okay, she's wrong. If
hmm
she admits it, will you make peace? But I don't think Tamber and Marie are good, good.
yes. And so they do mention that it is a couple's trip. Um, was it Glenn that said, "Who's Marine go bring her vibrator?" In the beginning, that scene popped in my head as soon as they said that. But Tamber lets him know that Demont is not coming, which we all knew he wasn't coming. Timbre, I'm not even gonna get into timbre because timbre be so
Amber,
weird.
I either want to see you take these heavy ass wigs and weaves off and wear your hair naturally and talk quieter. Other than that, the only way I will accept you on the show is if you admit I had a baby with Damon. We both was old as hell and wanted to have a child. Nobody else wanted to do it with us, so we did it together. It's clear these people are not in a relationship.
Very clear. And so, and that's pretty much that scene. It was a cute little baby birthday party. The food looked good. Oh, it looks okay. I'm not gonna talk about the podcast because that was silly. I didn't know they had a podcast together. I'll tune in to watch it. Is there anything you want to talk about the podcast with JJ and Willie?
I don't think these men realize they're on a show that is not watched like that, as quiet as this kept. Y'all are on the if Bravo is Target, then OWN is Walmart, maybe even the Dollar General. Okay. I don't need to see y'all on a podcast, especially Willie. If I see him talk about anything, talk about sports. That would make sense. But I don't care to see these men individually, especially those two. One of them
It
looked
was
like
just
he
weird.
sweat while he hitting it, which is okay if you cute, but he's not. And the other one looked like he likes to brush out his little plaques in his hair and give us that cute little wavy do and put on his wife's lip gloss. So I don't want to see these two men specifically talking about anything,
But there
especially girl talk and girl drama.
there you have it, y'all. So then the last thing we're gonna talk about is clip pops up on Letitia. And what we understand about this is, I don't either, but at least they're doing something. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
They both had fame too prior to this show. These
right.
two husbands specifically had a lot of fame before the show individually. So I'm just like, is Belle Collective? I want to see the collective. It seems like it's getting to the point where the collective don't have the ability to tolerate each other as much as the show would like for them to. And as it pertains to filming together. So now they showing the husbands. They're funny a little bit, but to be honest, I'd rather watch Cliff and Glenn say some stupid shit than watch these two because I'm tired of hearing God darn it. That's just me.
Right. So the last thing we're gonna talk about is Cliff showing up to Letitia's enterprise. And she was shocked to see him. She's like, Cliff, what you doing here? Does Letitia know? I mean, Latrice know you're here? He goes, no. And what she understands is that he's there to kind of coerce her into this whole beautiful dream that Glenn has with this box truck situation because Letitia don't know nothing. She don't know why he quit his job. She don't know what he trying to do. Glenn didn't give her no business plan. Glenn didn't give her no security, no nothing. She just going following him blind. So Cliff has pretty much said, no, he got a plan. He done bought him a truck. Letitia, he bought him a truck. And, and Cliff was like, yeah, he didn't tell you? She goes, no. And so Cliff at this point is like, oh, he set me up. He set me up big time. I said, yeah, that's why you should have stayed your ass out of it, Cliff. Because at the end of the day, that's for him to go to his wife and tell
What
her.
kind of a grown ass man sends the next nigga to talk to his wife about something important?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I thought
What?
that was weird. I thought that was crazy as hell. If
And
he can't do
Letitia's
it, why
dumbass
would you?
entertained it. She
I would have been
entertained it.
like,
I would have been like, I'm sorry, I don't discuss my marriage with outside parties. You can tell my husband if he wants to talk to me. We can do it at dinner, lunchtime, before he hit it, after he hit it. Hell, we could talk while he hitting it. But I will not be talking to you about my marriage when your wife is scared to even speak her piece and leave. Absolutely not.
this thing was crazy as hell. It just really was. And the fact that Letitia just sitting there just smiling and all this, and I was like, no, Letitia, no. This is one of the things like Cliff.
What does she do? Why does she have that building? She calls it enterprises, right? So that means that you should have a bunch of entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial type activities. She should have a lot going on in that building. What does she do?
To
Letitia, I
me, it
want to
looked
see
like
you
it's a
put on your
racecourse.
dog the bounty hunter outfit and I want to see
Right.
you hunt them criminals with bounties because we know that that's really what you do because that's the only thing anybody can find that you have a license to practice in Mississippi.
Yeah, okay. So Letitia's the Bell's bondsman. If for those of y'all who do not know, she has a current active license in bail bonds. So I don't understand why we're not
Maybe she
showing
don't
that.
want to look like a snitch because she probably still living in them neighborhoods where you may not want to look like one. But I'm tired of Letitia trying to be something that she's not. I feel
What's
like
wrong with the bail bondsman? I
Letitia would
still
do
watch Dog the
better.
Bounty Hunter for the reasons of Leland, but I still watch it and it's still entertaining. I don't understand why she won't show. Like she didn't even got to show the criminals. All she had to do was show that she got her collective bail bonds fee. That's
I
all she
feel
had
like
to
it would
do.
definitely change the audience of the show. A lot of people, unfortunately, especially in the Black communities, don't always and are not always supportive of other Black people working in fields that align with law enforcement. So maybe she doesn't want to put all of that. I agree with you. A bitch stay winning. Also, she may want to keep her percentage, but I rather her say I can't show what I do on camera because I deal with
Yes,
sensitive situations and matters versus her trying to look like she's a boss when she throws these weak ass brunches every couple of years that don't do nothing. And then she wrote the book about how to win as a side chick when she's somebody's wife. Letitia, just show us what you really do or don't show us nothing at all. Be yourself. Wear your hair out. Put some singles in your hair. I got some in mind right now. Okay? Ain't nothing wrong with it. But stop trying to be something you're not. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's making you look goofier than you have to look. Because I think Letitia, deep down, and I hate to say this, is actually likable. And I think she's probably one of the more relatable women on this cast. But we never get to see it because of how she acts and the fact that she follows Marie around wiping her ass.
true. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all because I kind of feel like I would rather her be her authentic self. Yes, you can't show what you really do for a living because you don't want them to collect the check at the end of the month. But at the end of the day, like she has the potential to be the fan favorite if she would stop bullshit.
She really does. She
Yeah.
really does. And I think that she's actually one of the women who, in some ways, can be the glue for everyone else if she would get away from Marie and just be herself.
I don't even think necessarily she needs to get away from Marie because no one should be able to, portray you to be something different, like
But
other
that's
than
how
yourself.
she is. She's not going to change who she is. And I think that she really does care about the opinion of Marie and other people. She don't even need a glam squad. Like half of us in real life are not wearing that much makeup and laying our wigs down every day the way that these
I mean,
people on
like all
TV
she got
do.
to do, realistically, all she got to do, because you know who really dresses well for her body type and wears really good wigs is Niecy Nash. She can Niecy Nash us. Like, really, she can. Like, get dresses that fit her body, get suits that fit her body, and like really wear them well. Like, she really can. Like, and I feel like because a lot of women who are, now I'm not saying she's plus size, but like, a little
She
bit bigger.
is plus size, then it's okay to say that. The girl's not fat or obese or
I know.
nothing.
I'm just saying. I'm
She
just saying.
is
Like
plus
there's
sized. A
shows.
lot of black women are, and nothing's wrong with that. She just really, really, really needs to stop trying to keep up with
I
everything.
asked
'Cause
Mrs. Best to do this, Jim Bunny, but she said that Jazzy's not a big enough star for her to do this.
I'm not sitting through that whole damn interview, and I already know what's in that interview. It's probably bullshit. I don't want to see no more side chicks getting interviewed. When you're a wife, fine, be interviewed. And Carlos, if you have such beef with Bravo, stop interviewing their stars for a check and fix your own shows. That's all.
Well, damn. Okay, that took a turn, didn't it? But no, honestly, and I agree with Mrs. Best. I do. I agreed with her then. I just threw it out there as because I thought it was funny. I really did. I thought it was funny, and I thought Jazzy was just switching up them dates and stories and trying to confuse everybody. But I'm somebody that pays attention, so
She
she can't
came
do that.
on as Mia's friend. So that told me all I needed to know. Birds of a feather flock together.
That's also true. So, yep, that's what it is, and that's what it's giving.
She
But that
said the
was
BBL was not cute. It makes you pay
uh,
attention to her weight even more. Because Letitia's
well,
not even
it's
that
like
damn big, but I don't think it's wise for plus size women to go and get BBLs or plastic surgery of any sort before losing the weight. Because the first thing we gonna see is that plus size body with something attached to it that ain't natural.
it was like no, it's like she did it, and then everything just went back to place. Like if y'all notice, like if she, I don't know, did Letitia get a BBL? I don't know, but it just seemed like whatever she did something. I know she did something, but whatever she did, it went back right back to where it was. Your
She
body.
has She has spoken about having PCOS, which I have, and it is a struggle with weight. And the
Mhm.
last thing you want to do is put yourself through plastic surgery when you have PCOS severely, because you're already struggling with weight. But then when you go and get a BBL or any surgery, you have to sit down and let that weight sit with you while
Yeah, because it
still
will go back to what
intaking
it was.
calories while
Yeah,
you're healing. Like, no, but
yeah, that's what I knew she had something. That's why I said it looked like everything went right back to where it was. That's what I said. Was that really worth the money?
that's how you know this collective is full of it to a certain extent. I think that they could have found a higher caliber of women to be on this show who are a little bit more successful. Like people like Marie, who's doing a lot with her business. People like Latrice, who's doing a lot with their business. Hell, even people like Aikisha, who are doing stuff around the city and all of that. I feel like that's definitely helpful. But then you have Letitia, and you just like, you don't fully blend or you're trying to keep up with the lifestyle that we know you can't afford, and it's okay to not afford it, but they could have found people who actually could have afforded it to do this show, because Letitia's always going to be trying to play catch up with the rest of these women, because Letitia's enterprises, they're not enterprising anything, if that's even a term.
Like I said, until I see her actually at work at the bail bondsman office, that's when I will believe her credibility on her businesses. Other than that, if I don't see it, I don't believe it's there. To me, you just renting out a space.
Damn, a big space when it's only ever her and maybe one or two receptionists.
Yeah, that I understand. Receptionists at bail bondsman offices, y'all tap in and let me know how that really works, and which I really do, because I feel like you don't need to be there. But if you do, let me know the criteria or the qualifications or your job duties of what you do, and then I'll stand corrected. But that was Belle Collective, y'all. It was, a crazy episode, lots to unpack here. I appreciate my co-host, Mrs. Best, for always keeping me honest, keeping me grounded, and making sure that when she speaks on her profession, she does it in the best way. I appreciate you, Mrs. Best, for doing so. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking the video. We appreciate you as well. We will be back tonight for Love and Marriage Huntsville, because tomorrow we're both going to take a break because I start a new job Monday. Mrs. Best is always busy, and she is on her paper and her grind, and I can't interrupt it, y'all, even though she loved me to death. But no, I got to make sure she rested too. So, y'all, I will see you guys on my next recap. I'll probably put in my community tab what time we'll go live. So I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.